The Jharkhand government has tied itself into an impossible knot. Now, you know that for the last 26 days, there were protests in Jharkhand against the government job application process and the examinations that were being conducted. Now, at the end of that protest, what happened was the Jharkhand government issued 8 notifications that effectively cancelled the Public Service Commission examinations that were conducted from 2014 onwards, specifically by an outsourced agency. Now, what this does is that it not only cancels the examination, it also cancels all of the job appointments that came through those examinations for government polytechnics, senior science officers, assistant conservator of forests, and several other administrative and technical posts. Now, in addition to cancelling those exams, the government has also ordered investigations into 23 other examinations. One particular cancellation has emerged as a major flashpoint. So the Jharkhand Staff Selection Commission combined graduate level examination, which was cancelled because of allegations of paper leaks. Now, protesters, you'll remember, demanded that the exams are cancelled and there be CBI inquiries. The protest happened for 26 days. There were hunger strikes that took place for about 15 to 16 days. And at the end of it, you'll remember Rahul Gandhi actually called on Chief Minister Hemant Soren and told him to hear these people out and actually listen to their demands that are actually reasonable. And after that, we saw the government take these steps. Now, what has happened, and the flip side of this is, while those protests have actually effectively been called off for now, the counter protests have now begun. Now, when these examinations were cancelled, candidates who actually cleared the test and have been appointed to government, they began protesting. About 2,700 candidates who recently secured government jobs through those recruitment processes are demanding a cancellation of the cancellation. And their argument is that the candidates who cleared the examinations legitimately are being punished right now for irregularities that are not their fault. They say the government should investigate the allegations, find the people responsible, take action against only those candidates who cheated, and not punish everybody. They're saying, tell us our crime, don't throw us out. In fact, they stormed on Wednesday the Jharkhand Secretariat and they violated the orders of the police not to enter that space. Now, the matter has now gone to High Court. The Jharkhand High Court has stayed the cancellation issued by the Jharkhand government on the 11th and the 13th JPSC examinations, which has ordered a stay also on the appointment of food safety officers. And according to the petitioner's lawyer, the petitioners are currently arguing the principles of natural justice have not been followed. So sidebar, that means basically you have not heard all the sides out. So the government made a decision without hearing everybody's side. And here, the people who feel unheard are the ones who took the examination, studied as normal, actually did the honorable thing, got the job, started working, and now their jobs have been cancelled. So around 450 candidates are asking for relief to be given to them. What is happening with the government right now? So the government, after announcing that cancellation, they've created a committee headed by a senior IAS officer to investigate and in 2 months submit recommendations. They've also proposed internal vigilance cells, both in JPSC and JSSC. And the original protests have ended for now, but they have given the government 2 months to address all demands, including a CBI investigation, and said that the protest will begin again if the government goes back on any of this. So the political fallout is really interesting because Hemant Soren now finds himself stuck between his opposition on one hand, which is the BJP, who is accusing him of piecemeal agreeing to what the protesters are asking for, not actually agreeing. And on the other hand, his own ally, who is Rahul Gandhi in the Congress, who had demanded that he hear the protesters out. Where does this leave the Jharkhand government? Between a rock and a hard place, effectively. One, allowing the recruitment process to stand through examinations that were compromised effectively allows candidates who benefited from malpractice to retain government jobs. On the other hand, cancelling these examinations will affect candidates who have done nothing wrong and they're not accused of any wrongdoing. And in many cases, these candidates have received appointments and they've started working. And the distinction is now going to become central to a legal battle. The High Court intervention will mean some of these questions will now be answered in the courtroom. So on one hand, how do you guarantee government recruitment if the recruitment process itself is compromised? And on the other hand, what do you say to the 2,700 not aspirants, but the job holders who have now lost their jobs? So on both sides, it seems like the Jharkhand government doesn't have any clear answers right now, and they're going to have to figure out those answers really quickly. Of course, these questions are likely to be answered in court. And one of the interesting things that came up was when some of these recruits who were protesting that they were going to lose their jobs were being interviewed by the press. One of them said, the Jharkhand government is not hearing us out. They said, go to court. So we have seen in some cases there are, governments that will pass a particular rule because they feel they don't have a choice and encourage people to go to court because they know that this is not going to hold up in a court of law and it will not pass muster and the court will reverse it anyway. So there does seem to be a little bit of a suggestion that that's what the Jharkhand government is doing in this particular case. They're telling people, hey, go to court and sort this out because our hands are tied and we've had to do this because we didn't have a choice. So it does seem like it suggests a little bit that this is what the Jharkhand government is doing. Now, Devendra Mattur, who ended his 16-day fast following the government's announcement, he has indicated that a second phase of the agitation will start if the protesters' concerns are not addressed. So if any of these decisions are rolled back, the protesters are saying they're going to come back. And if any of these decisions stay, well, there'll be a new set of protesters that will arrive at the gates of the Secretariat. And then, of course, there's the third battle that will be played out entirely in High Court. So the Hemant Soren government is stuck legally, administratively, and it would appear at this point politically as well to find a solution, because cancelling an exam that was held this year or held last year might be one thing, but to go all the way back to 2014 would be a challenge. And that is the challenge that's actually coming up at this point. So leave me a comment in the comment section of what you believe the Jharkhand government should actually do. What is the right thing to do at this point? Because every time an investigation is actually ordered, it tends to go into a long labored period and a public memory forgets about it. We don't really get justice delivered. But on the other hand, swift sort of results like we've seen so far is not always fair to everyone. What should the Jharkhand government do?